Hello, hello, hello. So, podcast doesn't start until 3 o'clock. However, I'm going to be on here. Hopefully, I can cultivate some people to come on with us. I will be doing about 10 mini episodes today. This one about to come up here at 3 o'clock is the Introverted Extrovert. Is that me? Playing in the background is Cooking Soul. Cooking Soul. Hello, Tabore Furlo. Hi. Just listening to some music here before the podcast starts. I've got Cooking Soul playing right now. Today I will be talking about the introverted extrovert. Tomorrow. And where are you going? Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo. No, not a job. You can get me on WhatsApp, 206-947-1285. It won't be on and live until about 3 o'clock, though. Got about 4 minutes till we start the podcast.
A dope ass beat, you could put it with which beat? A dope ass beat. I know what that is. That's like a really good track. A dope ass beat.
Hey, Tabari. I believe sometimes we all do. But here we go. All right. Hello and welcome to Let's Talk About It. Here we go. So today's topic, or this episode's topic, is going to be the introverted extrovert. Is that me? So we all had time to take measure within, do the shadow work, get back to basics, find ourselves, learn new things. And all of this took course at the demand of everything being shut down. For me, the beginning of the pandemic was super hard. I was a globetrotter in the cannabis industry and a mega socialite. Now I pass on invitations, VIP outings, and I don't feel comfortable in social settings as I once did. So I am just exploring the topic: am I now an introverted extrovert, which is what I found to be called an ambivert? And what I want to discuss with everybody is that we're all kind of going through this. It's not just me. I've noticed quite a few people that have been going through this feeling of not feeling like how they used to feel or kind of lost within. Now, sometimes an extroverted person is somebody who would constantly, seek greater stimulation, be energized around people. You would think out loud, kind of, oh, I've got this great idea. Let's, do this. Go out with various different groups of people. They wouldn't be just with one group of people or anything like that. Um, they enjoy kind of being the center of attention, which I wouldn't say would be me, but when my time to shine was there, I did not shy away from the light. And I valued the broader experience of life, kind of being out there and really kind of connecting with people and whatnot. Now, I still enjoy connecting with people. However, I've found recently that I don't share the same values as people. I've realized that from the pandemic and kind of doing my own soul searching within, I've kind of discovered a little bit more of who I am. And who I am to myself is a lot different than the person I was portraying myself to be, which is kind of interesting to me. And since I've been doing my art and having a little bit deeper conversations and discussions with people, I've realized I'm not the only one. So as we look within ourselves, and they say anytime that you decide to go on a self exploration, you're going to lose everything. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose money. You're going to lose jobs. You're going to lose sometimes even the clothes off your back. And why is that? To me, I've been listening to Alan Watts and Carl Jung and listening to the way of Taoism and whatnot. And I believe there's something to it that when you decide to really become your most authentic self, the person that you've created yourself to be from your environment, your home, your family, your career, you become almost pieces of them and not necessarily your full authentic self. I used to call it, wearing different masks. And for me, it seems as though, like if I was around my grandmother, there would be a certain way that I would be around her. I wouldn't be all out, because she had a certain way of being, kind of more formal to say. And now I I feel like I'm my most raw, authentic self. I don't feel the need to be heard by everybody. I don't feel the need to be around everybody. And I don't feel the need to exert my opinions on to anybody else. However, I am doing this podcast for more of a connection and not to exert my opinions on other people. So, I think that's something that we're all kind of coming into being is our most authentic self. Now, what does that mean? When we're our most authentic self, we actually tune into what we really want, what we need. We into what makes us feel a certain way. We also kind of tune into certain things that we noticed that we haven't noticed before. So for me, what that means is that I really understand now why I have a love for humanity, but when it comes to one on one people, I get turned off really quick. And I don't mean any sexual type of turning on or turning off, but just as engaged, being excited about talking with or speaking with some of these people. Now, I found it really interesting that I wasn't the only one that also felt that way. I've heard a lot of people that have come and bought my art, and we've had these conversations say that they've kind of excused themselves from their personal gatherings that they used to really enjoy. Either that or they also make sure that they're the ones driving themselves there to not be attached to anybody else so they have the right to leave whenever they want to. So, being an introverted extrovert, back to what the original show should be about. When we look deep inside and we become our most authentic selves, it's also kind of scary because we realize that we've kind of been living a lie or living a life of what other people wanted us to be. Now, when we look within, we kind of find a strength. We find this beauty in ourselves, and we begin to accept ourselves for who we really are. Within it comes a lot of struggle, because not only do you have to accept who you are right now, but you have to forgive yourself for anything previous that have ever happened. And a lot of people have a lot of things that maybe they're not too proud of, or things that they regretted that they've done, but none of that matters right now. And the best thing that we can do is take value in who we are now. So as we move forward and we start looking at being a socialite, being an introverted person, we also need to look at kind of the beauty of being both. So being an ambivert is what I've found this to be, is, do you have to fall into the category of being an introvert or an extrovert? Being an ambivert is someone who exhibits qualities of both introversion and extroversion, and they can flip to either depending on their moods, context, or goals, which for me is exactly it. So, an outgoing introvert is an introvert who can be outgoing in certain situations, around certain people, or when they're absolutely need to. So, for that, I always run towards danger or trouble. I'm the type of person that will run out there when I see somebody that has been hurt or whatever, just to make sure that they're okay, the situation's taken care of. It's, probably not one of the best things to do, because I end up putting myself in, risk, but it's a natural thing that happens for me. I cannot stand to see somebody being hurt if I have any way to protect them. What's the difference between an ambivert and a normal person? Well, we're all either introvert or extroverted, is kind of what the science has said before. An ambivert just means that you're a little bit of both. So ambiverts have also been called antisocial extroverts. An extrovert who needs time to recharge before socializing, or who likes to be alone more than a typical extrovert, which again I think is me. I used to love being in crowds. And honestly, I think it was like the first 3 months of the lockdown, I was dying to be pushed in a crowd, or have somebody spill their beer on my shoes, or just, I really craved being in a group of people. But now I find myself more at peace when, oh, you're so right, Danny. It's something that doesn't need a label. But that's one thing that our society has today that I think is probably the most devastating thing of our social existence, is all of these labels. And that's kind of what my podcast is kind of coming to, is to examine and look at all these different labels and things that are put on us, and how we can navigate through that, and how we can kind of diminish them. So the labels that are out there for everybody, I honestly think it's a design to kind of keep us separated. The great shutdown of the globe was huge, and no human cell can live alone. I mean, we're a bag of cells. We're a human body full of these cells that, aren't allowed to live alone. And then we get separated, and, that kind of sucks. But so here we are. Back to the ambiverts and the different things that ambiverts can be called. So an ambivert can also be called a social introvert, an introvert who can dial up into extroversion when needed, which again is something I also think that I am. Yes, you are completely right, Danny. Labeling is a tool of division. And it seems to me like every week, there's a new thing to subscribe to, or whatever. Can people go with people who like to be naked? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking there, Tabori, but to me, being naked, and I'm not talking of the flesh, but to be completely yourself, raw, without any filter, I mean, really depends on background. I do, however, believe, there is a certain social acceptance I don't believe that it's good to just kind of be going out there and, expressing your love or something for somebody, because it might not be, returned, or being as far as flesh of the naked. I mean, that can bring on some different perversions that you might not want to deal with, or extra energies that you might not want to deal with as well. Um, like, you belong in this box right here and with those kinds of people. Exactly. I mean, growing up, how like they'd have different cliques in high school or grade school or whatever, even in college, I was always one of those people that never clicked with one group, but I would kind of mingle my way all around through all the different types of groups. And to me, being that ambivert, whether I'm an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert, to me, I'm just human. I'm a human being, and I'm having other people witness my human experience as I'm going around witnessing other people's human experience. And from that, it helps me have a better connection with people. When I was 23, the biggest thing that I wanted for myself at that time, and I was raised by a lot of women, I wanted the ability to see myself in other people, no matter who they were. Now, sometimes it was hard, and it just had to be the simple fact that, okay, you're a human, I'm a human, got you. And sometimes you have to really look and see that sometimes people, which I'm going to kind of make fun at something right now, can be energy suckers. They can literally come to you because you shine such a bright light, and their sole purpose is to come and suck that energy out of you. Now, these types of people, they need to do the shadow work and look within and find that strength and light within themselves. That's where they've gone wrong. Now, I believe everybody has a sole purpose here on this earth, the good, the bad, the ugly, unfortunately, because I do believe that we are a collective. And in order for us to all have collective information of the human condition, the human experience here on earth, we need to know these things, which, kind of gives a bad taste in somebody's mouth. Um, uh, okay, Tabori, I'm not exactly sure again if you're talking about of the flesh or actual, like, naked being raw in front of people. Again, if it's of the flesh, you're inviting other things that you probably don't want to deal with. If it is being raw and, the person who you are, then you need to start doing that internal look within. And so, one thing that I like to do is I like having alone quiet time. There's times where I paint, and I paint with no music on, no interruptions of any kind. It's just me and my thoughts. For me, it's a way of meditation. And sometimes going within like that, you end up kind of really getting to know you race through all kinds of thoughts, all kinds of things that were stagnant and sticking inside your brain, and you start thinking about them and start realizing, just how amazing or different that you feel. And then from there you end up, taking those thoughts and aspirations into something else. And then for me, by the time I'm done painting, I've worked through a lot of emotional things, baggage, I would say, a lot of emotional baggage that I now can let go of. Thanks, Danny, so much for that. This is my second podcast. Actually, I've done quite a few, but I've deleted some of them. I end up getting kind of off topic and going down this thing. But what I hope to do today is I'm going to kick out quite a few mini episodes so that way people can take some of this information in bite-sized pieces. So for this podcast, I'm getting ready to wrap up here, and then I will start on to another subject. So for being a raw, naked, here I am type of a person, that's 100% being an extroverted type of person. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly fine. That's okay. However, you also have to develop thick enough skin to where you're impenetrable to other people's opinion. Because if you're an extroverted person that likes to be raw and put yourself out there, you have to know that not everybody is going to be on, taking that same opinion that you are so, extrovertedly giving out. Now, for me, when I was younger, that was something that was really hard for me, because when I was younger, I thought I knew everything. And just from being an observational type of person, being somebody who would love doing research before the internet was out and stuff, going to libraries, reading and looking at psychology books, really trying to understand people. The reason why I did this is because I am a first generation here in America. My father's from Mexico City. My mother has ties in Baden-Baden, Germany. My mother also has ties with some of our family members being, the first Secretary of State. Some of my mother's side of the family are daughters of the Revolution, which completely freak me out because I don't understand why you would want to have such a group. However, that's not for me to judge because, that's not me. So, wrapping this up again in the introverted extrovert. Now, being an introvert sometimes, 100% introverted, afraid to take risks, afraid to speak up, afraid to voice your opinion. Somewhere, someone told you that your voice was not important. And I want to let you know that your voice is important. Your opinion matters. Your human existence is something that I want to witness. I want to experience your human existence. I want you to feel seen and heard. I want you to feel that even though you might have some crazy introverted, I'm afraid to get out there, I'm afraid to see things, I'm afraid to try something, I'm afraid to do change, I want you to take a step and just go sit in front of a mirror. And I want you to look at yourself deep in your eyes. And I just want you every single day to tell yourself, I love you. Now, for the extroverted people, being extroverted is awesome. Being extroverted brings so many different opportunities. You meet so many people. You actually create and cultivate opportunities for yourself. But also, you cultivate a lot of hate, a lot of negativity, a lot of naysaying people that just don't, basically, they watch you to see you fail. So for you, not only do I want to see you go to the mirror once a day and tell yourself that you love you, but I also want you to be able to cultivate the practice of seeing yourself in these people. Because humility is one thing that extroverts rarely have. And for me, learning that lesson was hard blow. A lot of tears were shed. A lot of reality was all of a sudden like, oh shit, I probably shouldn't have done that. So to wrap this up, you are human. You're loved. No matter what label you think you describe or subscribe to, you are a beautiful human soul that needs to witness, be witnessed, be seen, and see so much more. I thank you for your time today. My next podcast is coming up here in about 5 minutes. I went way over my time. I was trying to do this in 15-minute tidbits. But if you want to follow me and what I will be talking about, you can go on to my website at Arte de Cruz, which is ARTEDECRUZ.com. I'm wrapping up podcasts that I should have done over the summer that I didn't do because of my art pop-ups. So my next podcast that I will start here in about 10 minutes is going to be called Am I Consistently Horny or Am I Being Moved to Create Change? This is another thing that I was exploring throughout the pandemic. I wasn't sure kind of what was going on with my feelings and emotions. As you'll read in the next podcast, this will raise an eyebrow for some, I am sure. I apologize now if you're offended, uncomfortable, and cannot accept any other viewpoints other than your own, and claim to be the judge, juror, and executioner. This is defective for you. I want you to get uncomfortable. Sexual heightened feelings has been something tapping at my door since the beginning of the pandemic. I thought, great, what was I supposed to become? Horrific? Or was it a deeper sensation calling for me to hone in on my creativity flow? And for what? So we'll be exploring the Kundalini, what that means, what the energies are, and what we can, benefit from it. Until then, I hope to see you guys all there at my next podcast here in the next 9 minutes now. Otherwise, if I don't, I wish you have a wonderful day, and I hope that you get to experience all the beautiful things of this world. Thank you so much for your time. I will see you soon.